Hello and welcome to another edition of the Rolling Illini. I am Josh, as always, joined by Avery Schaefer and Miles Hill. I hope you are all enjoying the beautiful weather. I am actually wearing shorts right now. It's incredible. It has been quite a while since we've been with you guys. So how's everybody doing?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing great, man.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, the last, I guess it's been month, has been kind of crazy. We had nationals. Then we had spring break, so nobody was here. Then last week, Miles and I were at junior nationals calling games. That's kind of like AAU, and we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end of the show. And then we are on this week. So on this week's show, we're going to be doing a little bit of recap on the NIWBT college nationals that were here in Champaign the week right before spring break. And so we're going to get there. So Miles, tell me a little bit about the atmosphere here in Champaign and what nationals was like for you.
Nationals was great. I enjoyed the venue. Shout out to State Farm Center because it was beautiful, man. And it was being my first national, but I'm pretty sure you can attest to it, and I'm pretty sure hearing from everybody else was that the nationals setting, just being in State Farm Center, being such a big place, was like unmatched in most years before that. So I enjoyed it. It was a great time, regardless of the result that we had, but I really thought it was a great experience for us as a team to have.
Yeah, it was really cool. The whole team got to practice there the week leading up to it. Actually, it was Friday through the whole next week. So that was really cool. And kind of the coach kind of took the team and stopped them on the first practice and said, I want you to look around and take in, what you're getting to experience and the atmosphere that you're playing in right now. Because if you don't do it now, you're going to do it when it matters, and that's going to be a problem. And that's kind of how we started the week. Yeah. It was really, really cool getting to practice there. The outpouring of supports from the fans, the students, and the alumni was incredible.
Yeah.
So let's start with the first game. The first game was, for us, the number 6 seed, the University of Illinois, us, versus the number 2 seed, the University of Texas at Arlington. We knew it was going to be a matchup that was going to be a little bit more difficult. We had beat them the one time we had previously played in the season, which gave us some confidence going in. Mm-hmm. The game started off pretty well. It was pretty tight through the entire first half. And then the second half came, and we cut the lead to, I think the lead was 10 at half.
At half it was around 10.
It was around 10 at the half. Cut the lead to 2. It was 44.
I think.
Or was it 43-41?
It was 43-41, yeah.
It was 43-41. And then both teams had a cold spell where for like 5 minutes, legitimately neither team scored.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
Yeah, and then that was followed up by 3 quick turnovers by the Illini that led to quick layup baskets for UTA, and that was kind of when they started to run away with it a little bit. I thought we kind of got down on ourselves a little bit after that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that the score at the end didn't really represent how close the game actually was because I think we lost by 19. Something like that, but we did a lot of fouling towards the end of the game, and the biggest part for us was those. Yeah, well, it was those 3 turnovers, and then they kind of put us in a spot where we stayed within that 10-point spread for the next 2-3 minutes, and then we had to start fouling.
It was a tough game to swallow, especially because we thought we had that game, and we knew we had that game, and it always comes down to making shots, and props to UTA. The one thing that we knew going into the game is UTA really likes to run with speed, and we did a good job, I thought, in the first half of playing with our pace.
Right.
And then we kind of panicked a little bit when the turnovers happened.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that was the first game, which put us in the losers bracket and out of the contention for national championship, which was incredibly disappointing.
Yep.
The locker room was a little bit quiet after that game. But then we got to go to an alumni event, which was really, really cool.
That was nice, yeah.
Hanging out with teams from 1960 all the way to people who graduated last year. It was really cool getting to mingle with all of them, and we were up kind of watching a game that was really, really exciting. The Southwest Minnesota Mustangs have a player named Jesus Villa, who we're going to talk about when he played us.
Yeah, he was hot.
He's an incredible player, and they had number sorry, UTA was number 3.
Yeah, UTA was
UTA
3.
was number 3. They had number 2 University of Alabama Crimson Tide on the ropes.
It was about over. It was pretty close to being over.
Yeah, and then
that was surprising.
Yeah, it wasn't really surprising for us because SMSU played a lot of games first semester. The majority of their games, they had a lot of blizzard and weather-related travel issues that didn't allow them to play games second semester.
Yeah.
So a lot of their qualifying games were in first semester when Jesus was ineligible to play.
Right.
And so having Jesus, we knew was going to be a big thing. Also, they have 2 bigs, Jesus Villa and Walter.
Yeah.
I don't know Walter's.
I think it's Johnson.
Walter Johnson, that is it.
Yeah.
2 big 4-5s. And then that really did a nice job of complementing Alabama's 2 bigs of All Prince and Ignacio. It was a really, really close game. And then Jesus got into foul trouble, but they knew they couldn't pull him.
Right.
So he's playing with 4 fouls. And what I really thought was a block, he fouls out because they called it a charge.
It was a block.
It was a block. He was the one that was on the floor. He was celebrating an and one because he made the basket, and they called it a charge.
That one.
That was heartbreaking for SMSU and what a lot of people had predicted to be an upset.
Yeah, most definitely.
Which was crazy because then the University of Alabama goes on to win the national championship for both the men's and the women's, upsetting both the University of Wisconsin Whitewater on the men's side and what was Dylan Fishbach's current call, one of the best players we have seen in the college division in quite a while.
Yeah.
And then on the women's side, defeating UTA women and a current call for 3 of their best players, including Rose Hollerman, Abby Duncan, and Morgan Wood, 3 Team USA players who were seniors for those UTA teams.
Yep.
So Alabama pulling a huge upset in both championship games.
Yes, sir.
Did you watch those championship games?
I watched the men's championship game, which was a really, really good one. Fishbach went cold towards maybe from the last 10 minutes of the second half towards the last 4 minutes. That 6-minute stretch, he was cold, and Bama was working, and then they were down 9 with about a minute and a half to go. And Fishbach just hit a 3. And as soon as Fishbach hits a 3, it's like, oh, crap, this game is still a game. Because since he hits one, he can hit another one. Yeah. But they couldn't pull it back together. It was tough to watch.
Not quite enough.
Yeah, not quite enough. But Fishbach he's playing great. We all know who he is as a player. But just looking to see what Ignacio and Q were able to do for Bama's side was really, really big. Because we knew All Prince he's the main point of their offense. But Ignacio, we've seen him as a great player this year too, but Q really stepped up from shooting outside, and it really helped him out a lot. So
Michael Allprince, the Aussie that plays for the University of Alabama, won Player of the Year. Yeah. Really, really tall player. Was playing his last game for Alabama and definitely wanted that championship.
Yeah,
and got it for the Crimson Tide. So that was good for them. This news coming in just today. Dylan Fishbach will be going to play professionally in Germany next year. Wow. So we wish the former Warhawk and great player the best of luck in that future endeavor. Yeah. He's always a lot of fun to watch and not a lot of fun to play against.
No, I agree. Yeah, I
agree. So that was heartbreaking for them. So then let's go back to Illinois. Our second game was against the University of Nebraska, Omaha, the number 9 seed coming in. Yeah. They defeated Auburn, the number 8 seed, to get into that game.
Right. They beat them the first time
at 8 a.m. Then they got defeated by Whitewater.
Yeah.
Then they played us. So they were playing their third game when we were playing our second game.
For some reason, they ended up playing Auburn twice. Is what?
Yeah, it was the 8-9 playing game was a little bit weird.
Because I thought it went Auburn, Nebraska, then Nebraska, Whitewater, then Nebraska lost and played Auburn again, and then they played us. Is what I heard. But I'm not quite sure if it's that way or the other way around. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we were facing elimination when we were playing Nebraska as being our second loss. But the Illini pulled through in that game. It was a good team effort for everybody all the way around. Not a lot of things to note in that game, I don't think. I had a nice little steal into an and one if we're going to throw it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that.
Self-promos are always a good thing.
We always do that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that was a good win. Good to get a win in front of the home crowd.
Yeah.
That was exciting. It kind of brought our spirits up into the last game, which was against the formerly mentioned Southwest Minnesota State Mustangs. Yeah. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and I think the game can be summed down to one play.
Yeah.
Going right into halftime.
I can agree.
Jesus Villa comes down. There's like, what, 5 seconds left?
Something like that.
3?
Yeah, pretty close. Right.
There's like 3 seconds left, and they call a play that they call sniper, which is usually a 3-point play for Walter.
Right.
Walter doesn't get the ball. Instead, they pass it over Walter to Jesus, who does a 360 spinning 3-point shot that hangs in the air forever and swishes in. And he actually flipped himself over. He spun so much.
Let me just make it a little more vivid for you guys.
Yeah.
How? I don't know.
Really?
I do not know how he made this shot. But
It was a crazy one. Willie, our 4-5, was about as close to blocking a shot as you could possibly get without actually touching the ball, and Jesus' casters were about as close to the sideline as they could possibly get before being out of bounds. And he fell back on his casters, which is like very hard to do. And when he made it, it was just like, damn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was mad, and you can't do that. But
I don't even think he was looking at the rim when he made the shot.
he was. I think he knew that his shot was gonna go in once he took it. But it was
Yeah.
it was an interesting one to say the least.
So the Illini fall by 10 in that game, I believe, correct? It's a 10-point loss.
Yeah.
It was just a really tough game. Jesus Villa actually gave a really great shout-out to Ben Willie Morachuk. The game plan for the Illini was keeping Willie on Jesus the whole 40 minutes. And Jesus said after the game that was some of the most fun he had and the best defense he had seen throughout his college career, which is pretty cool because Jesus started his college career at Illinois.
Yeah.
Always has a special place in his heart for Illinois, and so it's pretty cool that as a senior he got to end his career playing us, but also against one of the best up and coming Illini and Canadian team athletes. So that's kind of how it ended for us. The Illini finished 6th. I believe the outcome was Alabama 1, Whitewater 2, UTA 3.
Yeah.
Mizzou 4. SMSU 5, the biggest jump as they came in 7th.
Yeah.
Us 6, which is exactly where we came in.
Yeah.
7th for Nebraska. 8 for Edinburgh, which was a tough break as they came in as the 5 seed.
Yeah.
So really tough break for Edinburgh. And then rounding out the standings was number 9, Auburn. Yep. The Auburn Tigers finished 9th.
Yep.
Very, very young team. So
agreed.
It was a good year for them, even though they finished 9th.
9th, yeah.
And then on the women's side, the Illinois women took a tough draw playing the number 2 team in the country, Alabama Crimson Tide, in round 1. Lost that game by 20. And then
something like that.
Since there were only 4 teams in the women's division, they got to rest on Friday.
Yeah.
So they actually practiced where the able-bodied basketball team practices in their facility, which I heard was a really cool experience for them.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do that because we were playing games all 3 days.
That's lame.
But then on Saturday, they played their rival, the Wisconsin Whitewater Warhawks.
Yeah.
Lindsay Zerberg tried to lead the Warhawk women.
She did a pretty good job
on a comeback. Lindsay Zerberg is a very, very fantastic women's player.
Yeah, she
is the main player for the Warhawk women. But the Illinois women would not be denied and came out on top, finishing 3rd on this, capping their season, finishing 3rd, which was pretty incredible for them.
Yeah.
It was kind of the thing they wanted. So that is the Nationals wrap up there. So as we mentioned earlier, Alabama upsets UTA on the women's side to finish 1st. UTA finished 2nd and is probably really disappointed with that. So they had a really stacked team.
They had a team.
The Illini women finished 3rd and are elated about that. And then 4th is Whitewater. So that was the NIWBT. Right after we talk about our sponsor, we will be back to discuss where the Illini teams will be heading next season.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
All right. We just want to remind you that the Rolling Illini and the Illini Drive, that goes Monday through Thursday, is brought to you by the University of Illinois Division of Intercollegiate Athletics. We want to inspire and achieve. This weekend, get out and see both softball and baseball are in town for series. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So get out to the baseball and softball fields to see your Illini, who are very, very good right now.
Yes.
Take on some good competition. I think the Illini baseball team just swept Coastal Carolina, who were the number 19 teams in the country.
Which means something.
Yeah, which means something.
From North Carolina, that means something.
Yeah, so very, very good teams. Go out and support them. I think I will be at the baseball game tomorrow. Yeah. So if you see a kid walking around with a limp,
so will
wearing leg braces, come find me. I'd love to talk to you guys. And so remember, we were brought to you by the University of Illinois Division of Intercollegiate Athletics, Inspire and Achieve. We'll be right back after this one song. Stick with us here on the Rolling Illini on WPGU 107.1. And we're back here with the Rolling Illini on WPGU 107.1. If you missed the beginning of the show, we recapped the NIWBT Nationals that took place here in Champaign the week before spring break. And now that we have recapped the end of the 2018-2019 season,
let's look forward.
Yeah, let's look forward to see what's going on with the Illini in 2019 and 2020. So let's start with the women's side first. Yeah. So the women have picked up Riley Ladonja. I'm really good friends with Riley. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
I think it's
Ladonja. I think it is Lungdahl as well.
Yeah, I don't know her that well, so
don't try to spell it. A very, very good Class 1 out of Denver, Colorado. She is on Team USA. Very, very good pickup for the Illini, depending on what type of lineup they're trying to run next year. I would expect her to compete for playing time almost immediately. I can't get into Coach Steph's head, but I would
assume so.
I would assume so with her Team USA caliber. They also got Ruby Elbert, who is from the Bennett Blazers program out of Maryland. Very, very intelligent player. Is going to be a great addition for their team. They're looking for one more addition that we can't talk about, but I think with the addition of the players they have added, the Illini women's team is looking to have a re-energized and revamped 2020 season.
Yeah, the 2019-2020 season for Illinois, especially with, like I said, we can't talk about it, but you and I both know what we're looking for on top of what we have and what we've got already this off season for the women is really strong in and of itself. So I definitely agree.
Question.
Yes.
Which of the many great recruits we have gotten so far do you guys think Illini fans should be most excited about?
I mean, we're talking just women?
Yes.
Well, I mean, out of the two, I would definitely say Riley is probably definitely it.
Riley's the more experienced player, and with her Team USA pedigree already, like I think she's somebody who's going to come in and make an impact immediately.
Yes. I agree.
So that's of the announcements, that is definitely the one that's going to make the most impact.
Yep.
So that's really exciting, and also with the graduations of players from other teams, I think it would not be unrealistic to say the Illini have a good shot of winning the national championship next year.
No, I agree with that, and that
is a bold claim.
But you got to hear them out though. That extends both men on the men's and women's side, especially because neither of us are losing seniors. Neither of the teams are losing seniors.
That's something that's been really interesting. Both teams have put a lot of pressure to win, but it's been weird because neither team had any seniors. Everybody returns. I mean, on the men's side, Colin LaFawn is not going to return next year. He's going to graduate early.
Yes.
And we wish him well. But But of the starting group, nobody's lost, and so that's a huge important thing to look at coming into the next season is the experience is still there. We're not losing anybody, and we're getting more fantastic players coming in and getting depth on our bench and things like that. So that's very exciting.
And keep in mind that this year we didn't have a single senior on our team, I don't believe.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about is not having any seniors with Colin leaving next year, a semester early. But definitely looking at the women's side, we got some great pickups this past.
I think it's going to be very telltale early in the season how we do against the University of Alabama.
Yeah.
Will tell us what the season's going to look like. And
I agree.
I am very excited for both teams, but the women have a real great opportunity these next couple of years.
I agree. I strongly agree.
Yeah. All right. And then on the men's side, we picked up Corey Stokes from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, yes.
A good friend of Miles. Tell me what type of player Corey is and what type of person Corey is.
Corey's a great guy. He's one of the kindest guys I've met. Growing up, we played on the same juniors team last year, so we know each other well. But the biggest thing for Corey is the effort he puts in is unmatched by most of the players I've seen on my juniors level. Of course, like to say where I put in effort. I know I put in my effort, but to just look on a broader scope of the effort he wants to put in to become a collegiate basketball player, and he doesn't have the necessarily the skill set to play college ball right now, but he definitely has the mindset to grow and be able to play on this level as well. So this freshman year for him should be really interesting to watch and see how he grows into a player, and also getting a chair that probably fits him with help too. So it's interesting to see Corey come out here, and hopefully he'll play well.
Yeah, I would say that of the two, I think any coach would rather have a guy who's not quite there but is willing to put in the work than a guy who is there but doesn't want to put in the work. Exactly. I think of those two players, that's kind of the players that Coach Bushy recruits.
Coachability.
And so that'll be really, really great. And then Jonathan Elston is coming in. He's played in Nashville, then he moved to Mississippi.
And he was all over
where his parents started a program, and then his parents moved to Dallas. So he keeps moving further and further west. He's coming a little bit back east to come to the University of Illinois.
Yeah.
A little bit east, a little bit up. A very, very great juniors player. Has really good fundamental skills because of the coach he's been under the last couple of years.
Right.
That Dallas juniors team has really good coaching.
Right.
So it'll be good additions. I don't really see any changes to the starting lineup with either of those additions.
With either of those two? No, I definitely can see. Oh, well, go ahead.
Just because of the classifications are pretty well set, and their classifications have established players over them.
Right. Yeah, no, I could definitely see if they were lower class where that would go, but with the classifications, we're presuming that they'll have, because technically they don't have classifications. But the presumed classifications, we're assuming they would have. I agree. But they're definitely both, like you said, fundamental. I think Jonathan's a little more fundamental than Corey, but I also think that both of them have a lot to grow. And with the group that we have, the chemistry, I think we'll be able to help them grow a lot.
I also think that they are really going to add to our chemistry. And,
I agree, too.
A lot of things that people don't talk about is a lot of the contributions people make to a team aren't really necessarily on the court. It's about off the court stuff, too. And I think they're really great students. I think they're really great people. And so that's going to be good for us heading into next year. For the men, I think we'll be fighting for a top 4 spot next year. I think
almost up.
Realistically, any top 4 spot will be ours with graduations.
Yeah.
Whitewater is going to be a little bit down next year. UTA is going to be a little bit down next year. We'll see. And so I think those two and more. Alabama lost almost everybody.
Yeah, I was about to say they lost a lot. Yeah.
So I think with it being a down year for the college division and being an up year for us, and us being experienced finally, which is something we have not been able to say the last couple of years. I think the Illini men have a lot to look forward to next season.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe even top 2.
I think a national championship is not totally out of the picture.
Yeah,
I think I was being incredibly safe with my top 4.
That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, they're being pretty safe.
I was thinking you're being really safe there.
Yeah.
A national championship is not out of the realm of possibility, people.
Yeah,
stay tuned.
Another interesting thing to note heading into next season before we switch over to track is next year's nationals are not, for the first time ever, on one of the college's campuses.
Yep.
It'll be in Wichita, Kansas, which is new for us. It'll be on the campus of Wichita State. So that should be a really fun nationals. Good friend of the program, Rob Egan, is putting it on. So we are excited to prepare for that. In fact, we're so excited that our off time is done and we are already in postseason training.
Oh man, it's no joke.
3 days a week. We're all very sore this week.
Yeah.
But that's enough basketball talk. Let's talk to what's in season real fast.
I got one more thing for you,
One
Josh.
more thing. What's up?
We forgot our boy from Southwest Minnesota State, been managing us all year, Josh.
Okay, all right. So I thought about this pre-show and I can't believe that I forgot about it. So our manager, Matthew Talbot, is a very, very great juniors player. Played at Southwest Minnesota State last year and was one of the best players. Decided that's not what he wanted to do, and due to transfer rules and the fact that he needed to go to Parkland to get into the University of Illinois, he had to sit out this year and be our team manager. He was one of the best team manager I've ever seen.
I agree.
Just another really top-notch guy. He's coming in. That is a guy who he's a 4.0 classification player, but he is going to be vying for playing time, and he's going to make an impact. I would not be surprised if next year the Illini lineup included 2 4.0s, which would be Willie, Ben Morachuk, and him.
I agree.
He is a fantastic player, a really great leader. kind of a glue guy.
Yeah.
Which it's very rare to have a glue guy and a great player in the same person.
At the same time, yeah.
And that's what Matt Talbot is. Matt Talbot also played juniors basketball with Gabe Denbraber, who we've had on the show before.
Yeah.
So that connection's
Several times.
Yeah, that connection's already there.
Yeah. So
I cannot believe that is the most exciting addition on the men's side.
yeah, I would say in terms of just sheer talent, definitely the most exciting guy to bring it. You guys might not really, or you guys don't really know about Matthew Talbot, but he's not allowed to practice with us. So he comes to the practices and watches as manager, but he's not allowed to practice with us. But he does a lot of work on his own time.
Yeah,
and watching some of the stuff he puts on Facebook,
he'll post it all on Facebook.
He puts it on Facebook sometimes, and it's like, dang, you really did that? Like on video? This isn't fake. It's real. It's crazy.
So he's not allowed to practice with us, but we're allowed to go to the gym with him, like in our own time. And one of the funniest things I think Miles was there. Miles, Talbot, and I, first semester, went to a Saturday practice together, like not an official practice, but like just us. We were playing 1-on-1-on-1. And I think we were playing at 21, and Talbot was at 18, so we were playing 2s and 3s. And so Talbot needed a 3 to win, and Talbot I'm defending him, and Talbot goes, I'm not cocky enough to take a 3. We got one more possession, so I sag off on him. And he shoots the 3, and he goes, "Maybe I am," and it swishes it as he says it.
It was crazy.
It was one of the dirtiest things that ever happened to me.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, if you know Talbot,
trust an opponent,
right? If you know Talbot, he's not cocky enough to shoot the 3. So I would have said, he's not cocky enough to shoot the 3.
He's so funny. He's a really great guy. I like hanging out with him a lot and talking to him. So he is a great addition to the team and is my Illinois new men's player to watch in 2019, 2020.
Agreed.
All right, now we're going to switch over to track.
Now we're back, right?
So the week when we were all coming back from spring break, the Illini were at 2 different races. So one of them was the LA Marathon in Los Angeles, California. I talked to Jenna Fessmeyer, who finished second in the race. She said that the conditions could not have been better. She broke the pace that she wanted to break, I think at 2:05. The wind was to their back. The weather was beautiful in LA, which it usually is.
It usually is, right.
So she finished second in that race. Let's see. Katrina won the race. Katrina is another Illini. So Illini finished 1-2 on the women's side.
A lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of the men. Those were the only 2 of the Illini that went in. So then they got 1-2 there.
Congratulations.
Then, congratulations to them.
Right.
Then there was a 10K in Chicago called the Shamrock Shuffle. Everybody loves St. Patrick's Day here in Illinois and in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so that was a race. And so let's see. Daniel Romacek, the 20-year-old phenom who's won the Boston Marathon and the New York Marathon and a bunch of other marathons and races.
Right.
The guy who forced me to quit track almost when he lapped me in the 800. Won the Shamrock Shuffle. Susanna Scaroni, who we've talked about on the show and is another elite Illinois grad student, won on the women's side. Good showing for them. A lot of Illinois athletes went to that one, including, Brendan and literally everybody except for a couple people decided to stay home went to that race. So a lot of Illini showing a lot of orange and blue in that race. That's an exciting start to the season for the Illini. Also, track things of note, Tatiana McFadden, who we talk about a lot on this show, is now sponsored by Olay. She posted on Instagram a bunch of pictures from Olay, so good for her.
Congratulations.
Shout out to her. It's something she had wanted for a while. Yeah. Saw her in the gym yesterday, and so we talked a little bit about that. Yeah. So that's an exciting development for her.
Most definitely.
All right, so as we kind of work to wind down this show this week, we're going to bring up something and let Avery explain it.
Yes. Recently, there has been a college hockey player who lost his leg and now skates on a prosthetic leg.
Yeah. So that is kind of the gist of it. So his name is Craig Cunningham. Yes. And in 2016, he collapsed on the ice before an AHL game due to cardiac arrest. In the hospital, the doctors had to amputate his leg. And less than 3 years later today, there was a video posted of him skating around on a prosthetic leg that had a skate at the bottom.
And looking pretty good.
Yeah, looking pretty fast. He was the captain of the Tucson Roadrunners. And so that's very exciting news for him. It was a really cool video to see. The technology for prosthetic legs has gotten so much better.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So we wish him the best as he continues his recovery and gets back out on the ice. That's a really incredible story.
Amen. Yeah.
We will be following you.
Yeah, very excited about that. Avery, you got anything you want to talk about to end the show this week?
My last big thing is kind of a self-promo here, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
All right, we're just getting them all out on the show, ain't we?
I, as of March 14th, am officially a journalism student
Nice, congratulations.
here at the UI and will continue working with WPGU as well as hopefully the Daily Illini as part of that.
Nice, awesome.
Congratulations,
So-
man.
Congratulations, we're excited.
Yep.
We like to say that you got your start here at the Rolling Illini for journalism.
We take
Of
those.
course.
All right, Miles, you got anything?
Man. It's been a long while since I've been, so I guess it's be a couple big things, but nah, I'll just stick with the one. It's something you guys have probably already heard about, but I just like to say it because, I might as well. Rest in peace to my boy, Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, yeah.
Quality artist, but even bigger family man, and a really big inspiration to the LA community. And unfortunately, he lost his life at a very young age. Anytime you see someone go under 40, under 50, really, you really start to realize what type of situation they were in. But he did a lot for the community that he was in, and just would like to say shout out to him. So.
Yeah. Here on WPGU, we play this style sometimes, so it was really sad to see that news. My news is this summer I'm going to be working with kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be working this summer behind the scenes, working with summer camp for children with different types of disabilities, including spina bifida, which is what I have.
Oh, yeah.
Also, heart conditions and craniofacial deformities. So very excited about that opportunity and to give back to a organization that gave so much to me. It's the Children's Hospital in Atlanta. So very excited to give back to that community this summer and to work with children with disabilities. Also, apparently there's a wheelchair basketball camp coming through, or adapted sports camp coming through at the same time as one of the camps. So I'm excited to see if I can get to work with them a little bit.
Flex on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more thing we could talk about that I said we were going to talk about at the beginning of the show.
right.
Last week was Junior Nationals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can't believe forgetting about this. I knew it was too early for me to be out of things to talk about.
Right.
Junior Nationals this week were fantastic. Just for those of you that don't know, Junior Nationals is basically the wheelchair basketball version of AAU.
Yeah.
So each state has at least one team. A couple states have 2 or 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah.
Depending on your population and whether or not you can field a team.
Right.
And the top 32 juniors teams in the country, high school teams in the country, come to one place. And this time it was in Lincoln Way, Illinois.
Yeah.
Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah, Lincoln, Illinois. Hosted by Lincoln Way Special Recreation Association. The team that our boy Thomas Duffy and Kevin Hamilton, our boys,
Sir.
Thomas Duffy and Kevin Hamilton played for. So Miles and I had the honor of going up there and helping Jason Hotchkiss, Noah Hotchkiss, one of our teammates' dads, run the live stream. It was really, really cool to get to see a lot of young athletes trying to achieve their dreams. All of the college coaches are at Junior Nationals. So you saw Coach Bushy rolling around, Coach Ford at Alabama, Coach Opie and I stopped and talked for a minute. So that's a really cool opportunity, and seeing all of that work that they go through throughout this year, culminating in that game was really, really cool. My dad coaches the Atlanta team, so when I was at home for spring break, I went to their practice, and then I got to see them play.
Yeah.
It was cool. They finished 4th in the country, which was pretty cool.
Good, yeah.
Considering they only have one senior who's going to play at the University of Arizona next year.
Congratulations to her as well.
Jordan Kozlowski. So that's something that we can talk about here in a second. But what did you think of Junior Nationals?
I thought Junior Nationals was great. It was interesting to see the difference at Lincoln Way. They had at Lincoln Way North High School, for those of you that are from kind of away or from near this area. But it was an interesting change from Louisville, where in Louisville they have it at the convention center in Kentucky, and like all the courts are laid out in front of you, and every division is there instead of just juniors. It's the adult division as well. But I thought it was really interesting to see a lot of the teams play, and kind of how the change of just change of the division in general. It's different from when I was there. I'm sure it's different from when you were there, and that's in a good way and just a different way. I think it's a little less athletic, to say the least.
Intense, yes.
Yeah, I would say intense. The intensity is a little different, but to say that the talent isn't there would be a very, very big lie. So there's a lot of talented players in the NIT and the NWBA varsity top 16 division, so it was great to watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent right now.
Yeah.
A lot of young talent too. Evan Heller.
Yeah, what a player, right?
Is a man out of Cleveland. That was the one big upset. Was number 12, the Cleveland Junior Cavs defeated number 5, the Seattle Sonics, and Evan dropped the game winner, and then went on to play Atlanta and dropped 31 points. Yeah. Really an incredible player, and so it was cool to watch him because I met him at summer camp last year. A really great player. Yeah. For sure. And then getting to call the games was fun. I got to learn some people's and things about people and doing research that was really cool. Yeah. Huge shout out to Jason Hotchkiss. He did the live stream for both college nationals and junior nationals. He did a great job with it. Yep. Alexa Halko, Noah Hotchkiss, Dagoberto Saez, all those guys did a great job producing and running the cameras. And so it was a really, really great weekend, a fun weekend. Yeah. I still have friends that play in juniors that are a little bit younger than me, so getting to see them was a lot of fun. Getting to see parents that I hadn't seen in a while was fun. Yeah. Getting to hang out with my dad was a lot of fun. I got to call a game with my dad.
That's pretty cool.
Which was pretty cool to get to share the sport that we both love so much. So that was that. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks, who I don't know if you guys know, but Emily Oberst, the star on our women's team, her two brothers are the star of the Milwaukee Bucks juniors team, and so they won a national championship. So congratulations!
They put some work in that.
Yeah, they did.
Game.
They upset the Houston Hot Wheels, who I'm good friends with their coach, and that was shocking. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't shocking when you thought about it, but at the time, I said a couple weeks ago, Houston Hot Wheels, Sharpie, put them in, and they lost the championship game and broke a 66 straight winning streak. The Bucks did. So congratulations to them on that. I also got to call the Prep National Championship game, which is the 12 and under. They put an 8.5-foot basket. So cute. There was one guy who scored more points than the entire other team.
Goodness gracious.
In the championship game. Wow. So that was cool to watch. He's going to be a baller and a guy to watch heading into the future.
Yep. It's really interesting to see those prep games because they're so young, man.
Yeah, prep. You start them young, and then you watch them grow. And there's guys that I watch play prep, and they're sophomores, freshmen now, balling out in the varsity division. Yeah. All right, so I think that is all we got for this week's show. Yep. As always, I'm Joshua Joins, joined by Avery Schaefer and Miles Hill. Avery, take us out.
Keep it rolling.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.